What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. There's a lot of welcomes that I have to get done because there's just two sets of audience. There's the audio cast audience, and then there's the YouTube audience. So, for the YouTube audience listening, welcome to a different episode of whatever you want to call it, YouTube channel. And for our audio podcast audience, welcome to the first episode of Cross and Culture Podcast. My name is Jay Fletch. The man to the right of me is one of my best friends, one of my brothers, Andre Swan.
How's it going, everybody?
So, there has been a lot of things going on in regards to gun violence, in regards to the shooting down in Fort Lauderdale. We live in Florida. We're residents of Florida, so we sort of want to dive in and talk about that because I have a lot of things I sort of want to get off my chest. There's a lot of misconception. There's a lot of people uneducated about guns, and before we really want to talk, we want to educate people about guns and how they are not the issue in these shootings. So that's sort of what I want to get into here. So let's jump right into it and let's talk about the shooting in Florida. Shall we?
Yeah, let's start with that.
All right. So the shooter, who we don't even know his name, we don't remember his name, he will remain nameless because we don't want to make more of a celebrity of this evil guy. He goes into the school, and from the descriptions, the way the story is like portrayed and told, it sounds like the school wasn't even ready or.
Yeah, I think it was just a normal day there. You know, they have 4,000 kids or that go to school there. Something like a good amount of kids that go to school there. So to them, just business as usual, normal day. But obviously, that wasn't the case. So
yeah, and he comes in, he shoots up the school. There's 17 people that are killed, and I don't know how many. I don't know how many more were wounded.
Yeah, I don't remember the numbers specifically.
But the thing about this shooter, as opposed to the other shootings that we have dealt with as our country, is the fact that this threat has stated on many different records he was going to shoot up school.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
this threat should have been prepared for. And the fact that he was flagged and he was looked at by the FBI.
Yeah, and he had the police called him 29 times, 28 times?
39 times.
39 times?
Yeah.
So, obviously someone with that, you want to keep close eyes, on, because you don't know what they're going to do,
And this particular incident is the reason why I wanted to talk about it so much, because it grieved me in my soul the fact that this person who's looked at by the FBI, who has stated on record he wants to go and do damage and hurt a lot of people, managed to do that, and there's nothing that stopped him. And we looked at the fact that not only that he shot up the school, but there are people there, guards were there, and they didn't go inside and do their jobs.
Yeah, well, there was only one armed guard, and I think it's there's 4 armed guards. I was listening to a radio show that I thought there was only one. Okay, but anyways, you have to. It's a huge campus too, so you have to have more than 4 or whatever number it was. Obviously, It wasn't enough, so you got to be more prepared. You never want to, think that that's going to happen to you, but the way, the times that we live in now, it's almost expected, which is, which is sad to say, but we have to be prepared. Wherever we are,
Yeah.
we have to be prepared for the worst.
Yeah. There's threats, both domestic and foreign. Got to be prepared for both. And I got to tell you, just walking myself through this process. Initially, I got to tell you, and this is sad that it comes down to this. When I heard about this, I was desensitized by it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so used to it. Like it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
It is a sad thing when shootings like this is a normal thing. But I hear about the stories more, and of course I do empathize and I feel for
Definitely.
the families and the victims that are. So I'm not completely desensitized when it comes to that. But
It's just the fact that it happens so often.
yeah,
that's and that's an issue.
yeah. And then hearing about how this guy was looked at.
Yeah, I mean,
And
yeah.
it's like, this could have been stopped. But but no one, the people who are charged to protect, who's charged with the jobs of serving and protecting, failed to do their jobs.
Yeah.
And it cost, their negligence
Yeah.
has cost the lives of 17 different people, which, yeah, I'm sort of borrowing that from a TV show, but it's the truth, though.
And that's funny that you say serve and protect. I mean, there was, one of the deputies there, he didn't even attempt to do anything about, the shooting. I mean, he just kind of, cowered out. I mean, I know, it's tough to say, if I would do the same thing or not. I mean, I don't know, but there's been twice in my life where I felt that I was going to have to shoot somebody. And, I prepared myself for that mentally. And,
I did not know
yeah,
that. Wow.
I'll talk to you about it later, but there's been 2 separate occasions in my life where I have felt like I'm going to have to kill somebody today. I mean, and it's not something like to take lightly. Like, I know it's crazy to say that out loud.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So,
and let's get something out of the way. We both have concealed weapons carry license. We both are gun owners. I am a member of the NRA. Andre, your dad is.
Yeah, my dad is.
Yeah. So this is from obviously we're speaking from an empathetic perspective, but yeah, we are gun owners. We are obviously pro gunners for the Second Amendment, but
yeah. But but going back to the the part which like that was your job. Whether or not you were scared. I was listening to the radio, Mark Levin show, and there was a caller that called in, and he said, he was saying that the cop didn't go in because he knew he had an AR-15, so that's why he didn't go in. No, the guy didn't go in because he was a coward. Let's face it. He didn't do his job, and you can't put those 17 lives on him. But if he did his job, it could have been less than 17. We don't know that for sure, but if there was somebody there, trying to combat, the situation that went down, you don't know how many more lives could have been saved from that.
Hey, Leviticus, can we hear from the sheriff and his explanation?
I hope you guys can hear this. I'm not sure how this is going to work too well, but we'll see.
Given amazing leadership to this agency.
Amazing leadership?
It makes me sick to my stomach that we had a deputy that didn't go in. Because I know if I was there, if I was on that wall, I would have been the first in.
Do you think that if the Broward Sheriff's Office had done things differently, this shooting might not have happened?
Listen, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, O.J. Simpson would still be in the record books.
I don't know what that means. There's 17 dead people, and there's a whole long list of things your department could have done differently.
That's crazy. I don't even think we should even try to dissect what that even meant.
17 people are dead, and he's trying to quote O.J. Simpson.
Yeah. I think it's funny that he says that he would have went in there, but I think that speaks, the fact that his deputy didn't go in there probably speaks a bit to his leadership. No?
And it's like I say to my players, like, because I coach basketball as well, like how you guys act and behave off the court is a reflection of the coaching staff, both me and the head coach. And if you're on a team and your players on a team or your police officers, they're a team together, individuals, but they're teams. It's a reflection of leadership.
Yeah, and they have there's one goal in mind, and it's painted on all sides of all those cars: protect and serve. And I mean, that day there was no protecting, there was no serving.
Yeah.
And,
So the first thing is the Broward County Sheriff's Office, they failed. Secondly, FBI,
they failed as well.
they failed. You have a guy on radar. You're looking at him 39 times, seeing him as a potential threat. You bring it.
The FBI was called about him twice.
And
FBI called it twice.
they were called about him twice. They bring him in, actually. I think I've heard that they brought him in.
And another thing is that the shooter called the cops on himself as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
How?
He
And yet-
he was going to explode. He even called the cops on himself, saying that his mother passed away. He was in a good place,
And he felt he was going to do something crazy.
And yet,
They
he
ignored
still gets access. He still has freedom. He still gets access to a gun. He should have been checked into a mental health rehab, and yet he still has freedom. No, he goes unchecked, and he does what he did on purpose.
Yeah.
There's so much blame to go around. Again, the sheriff office, they failed. The FBI, they failed. Okay? But here's the thing. We want to blame guns.
Yeah.
We want to blame the guns, an inanimate object that if you lay it down on the table,
That'll just shoot by itself. And if you hear that, it's probably my dogs in the background. So sorry about that.
your dogs are loud, man.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah. So, what was I saying? In
The gun killing. I mean, we have actually a demonstration, a live demonstration here for you guys.
Okay,
So this is a
Glock 23.
So just go ahead and
Okay.
go ahead and unload it.
My mag here, and
There you go. Pull the trigger and clear.
okay,
It's clear. It's
clear. Okay,
So
I'm gonna put it
Yeah.
right here.
just for the remainder of the video and see if this gun kills anybody. So
All right. While that's laying there, I just want to talk about the fact that guns, this is a glorified paperweight. This it's not that.
It's state right now. Yeah.
The issue is us. Like and I say us, but I'm talking about
Mankind.
people. Yeah, it's like and here's the thing: if it's not guns, it'd be something else.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing: if this guy was so desperate to hurt people, I heard Leviticus. He was telling me the other day, all you have to do is just go underneath his cabinet and build something. It's not that much. I was watching Logan Lucky yesterday night, and I was watching,
that movie was awesome. Bro.
yeah, it was awesome. I was watching Daniel Craig build a bomb out of gummy bears and a bleach pen.
Yeah.
What?
Like, how? Like,
I mean,
it doesn't take much to do. Like, if someone wants to do something evil, they're gonna figure out any way to do it.
exactly.
It just makes it easier, yes.
Mhm.
But still, like, it's not this. This is not the issue. It's this.
Yep.
This is the issue.
And the thing is, listen, there are going to be good people with guns. There are going to be bad people with guns. Okay. We don't get to pick the scenario of what a bad person is going to do. Like that's the reason why I carry. That's the reason why I carry. It's because I don't get to pick the scenario. I don't get to pick if someone who is a bad person is going to do.
Yeah, we don't control the terms.
Okay, we don't. We're all part of just a current. It's a current. We're just going with the flow, right?
Yeah.
We can't control it. But what we can control is us being ready.
Yeah.
So that's
and I think that perfectly segues us into, I think the Second Amendment. I mean that's,
Could you please
read
pull
that
up this? Thank you.
Right, so I'm just going to read the Second Amendment. So it says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So I mean, like it doesn't get any clearer than that. I mean, let's break it down though. Let's go back and break it down. Can we get that back up, please? Thanks. So it says a well-regulated militia. So I think
It's not. It didn't say. It didn't say like. It doesn't say. It's not talking
military.
about Navy.
It doesn't say military.
Army. It doesn't say not
Militia,
military. It's militia. Difference
and
between
that,
military
and that
and
militia is anyone who is willing to pick up an arm and to protect or not protect the Constitution. If the government would oppress tyrannical government. And can we get that back up, please?
And, let's keep back up
Let's
until.
just keep that up there.
And why was that even put in the first place?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. George Santana has a quote, right? History shows that if you fail to learn from your histories, you are going to doomed to repeat it again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, our founding fathers, they've been objects under a tyrannical government. That's why we went to war for independence and
For our freedom, yeah. So.
yeah. So, that's what they've learned, what they've experienced. But now after they won the war for our independence, now they're in a position of power.
Yeah. So they wrote this thing called the Constitution. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of it.
I hope you guys, viewers have heard of it. Basically, here it is. Here's what we follow. This is how the government is here to help us, but if the government steps on any of these things, that's an issue. That's wrong. Do we have another soundbite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
play it.
All right. So this is
okay. This is from President Trump.
a few days ago, 2 days ago, right? 2 days
Yeah.
ago. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and play this clip.
Inspired by a group.
I've got an advertisement.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's one of those you can't skip through. Those are the worst.
Oh my goodness. Hang tight, folks.
Hold on.
We're almost
Got a
done.
few seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Yes, go ahead, Mike.
Well, in the category, you spoke about this, but gun violence restraining orders. They're called. California actually has a version of this, and I think in your meeting with governors earlier this week, individually and as a group, we spoke about states taking steps. But the focus is to literally give families and give local law enforcement additional tools if an individual is reported to be a potential danger to themselves or others. Allow due process so no one's rights are trampled, but the ability to go to court, obtain an order, and then collect not only the firearms but any weapons in the possession
Or
of that
might
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system, because a lot of times by the time you go to court...
Wow.
Here's the problem. There's one course of action that's going to happen if you try to take a citizen's firearm. War.
Yeah.
Civil war.
Or anybody's rights.
It's...
who's to say that he doesn't have a mental health condition? Anyone can just say he has a mental health condition. Let's take his gun away. You know what I mean? Who regulates that? I mean, you can put people's in power to do that, but I mean, it's not. I don't see that working.
And here's the thing
that's a violation of the Constitution.
And here's the thing. People with ideologies that are out of balance with our ideologies, they're called extremists, right? And so, thing is, both sides, left and right, they are so out of touch with reality because they're so out of balance with their own ideologies. Can I say that again?
Sure.
They are so out of balance with their ideology, now they're out of touch with reality. And we gotta stay in touch with reality and stay in balance with our own ideologies. If we don't, we get someone who is guilty of a reach-in foul, like Trump is with this take our gun, because that's a reach.
Yeah, I mean that's
and that's the reason why the Second Amendment is in place, so that if a government overreaches, we can have someone says no.
And let's go a little further with that too. So we have rogue militia. That's us.
Yeah.
Being what does that say? Necessary.
Yes.
Not like that's a good idea. Necessary meaning me like it needs to be there
Mm-hmm.
for the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed upon. Not we're going to add these regulations. Not let's put these little things in place. It says shall not be infringed upon.
And the thing is, you need number 2 to protect you from number 4. You want to read number 4?
Yeah. So the right of the people to be secure, their persons, houses, papers. Is that papers?
Yeah.
And effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but go upon probable cause. So, yeah,
And you need number 2 to do what?
to protect. Just so we're back.
Yep.
So, you need number 2 to protect number 5.
4.
For
Well, now we're going to number 5.
okay,
Do
it says
number
no.
five.
You can read that one, Josh.
Yeah, if I can see it.
Yeah, I know it's hard to see.
All right. Could we scroll up and expand and make it bigger, Leviticus?
Sure, number 2.
That might be like right click zoom maybe. No. I don't know if you can make it bigger, bro.
It's like there's some.
You can't do.
I
Oh
know.
yeah, but I don't have the trackpad.
Yeah.
No, that's not gonna work. Oh, I got some code.
Oh well.
That's
I'll take a shot. I'm gonna take a shot at it anyway. It says no person shall be held to.
answer for capital or otherwise infamous crime unless a presumption of indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in land or naval forces or in the militia, in the actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life and limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So the government come after you for something you didn't do, and shall take your property,
Take
and your
everything
rights.
away. Yeah.
I mean, are you going? Well, what person is going to stand there and take it? You have ways up to defend yourself.
Hey Andre, this gun has been laying on this thing for a good
Yeah.
6 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, and it hasn't done anything just yet, but still to hold off though, because you never know.
Okay.
So, okay. But yeah, I mean that's a good point, Oli. I mean, basically what he's saying is, that Second Amendment is there, and that hinges on so many other ones, to protect us from those, to hold those too. So.
And again, talking about being balanced with ourselves and ideology, I would propose this because clearly we don't want these things to keep happening. But like, how do you avoid it? Because let's just say this: we know about drugs, right?
Drugs
trade,
are illegal now.
they're illegal now.
Yeah.
Guess what? People still
we have an
get-
opioid epidemic in our country right now.
Yet people still gain access
Yeah.
to drugs to either to
Sell
use
or
it,
use,
buy it,
yeah.
sell it.
To do whatever with. I mean, there's people in their cars overdosing. And it's not just. I don't think that affects the lower class. I mean, that affects middle class. People that are rich. I mean, that affects everybody too.
Yeah.
So and then I was another good point. When I was listening on the radio again. We don't blame cars when when people get into accidents. We don't blame alcohol whenever people get DUIs. We blame the person behind the wheel, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between the person behind this and a person behind a car killing someone? Like, the car doesn't kill anybody. This doesn't kill anybody. It's the person that does. I don't understand why. It's so simple, but
Now they would say people who are against guns would say, well, that's the reason why we want to take guns away, is so that people, mentally ill people, don't get their hands on guns. Okay, understand, but again, if you're out of balance with your ideologies, then there are holes that you expose in yourself. And here's what I mean: if we, as law-abiding citizens, forfeit our right, our God-given, undeniable right to bear arms, then we put ourselves at the mercy of big government, a potentially corrupt and tyrannical government. We put ourselves at the mercies of foreign invaders. We put ourselves at the mercy of these shooters, and the potential damage goes from
Catastrophic,
17 to potentially hundreds.
in one shooting. I mean, yeah, and the other thing too is, if they did, take away our guns, that would lead to, other things that we have freedom of religion. I mean, if they're going to take our guns, who's to say that they're not going to tell us we can't go to church and worship God? So it starts with that. You know what I mean? It starts with one thing, stripping us from one thing from our Constitution, and then just a domino effect from there on.
Now, I think one thing both sides can agree on is not everyone should have a gun, because clearly,
yeah. I mean, not everyone should have a car either.
Yeah.
But you got old people driving on the roads, and it's no offense to any old people that may happen to be listening, but there's sometimes that you see old people driving the road. It's like they have no business driving, and there's people that have no business having a gun either. I agree with you for that for sure.
All right, I think we have another sound bite, and
No,
and listen, before we play the sound bite, if you put a pause on it.
No, we don't have a song. No,
We don't?
No, we don't.
Okay.
That's a good point. We should talk about that. That would be interesting.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, very interesting point. Very interesting point. All right, so I'll just go ahead and read it. So we're gonna say it and just give a second to think about it and let it churn for a little bit.
We're gonna seal out.
We're gonna seal on that joint.
May
All
I?
right. Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Interesting question. I thought about while this discussion was going on. Would slavery have happened if the slaves had weapons?
Mm-hmm.
Would it have been so easier for the British to come on the Atlantic coast of Africa and take Africans away from their homes if we had weapons to protect ourselves? Would that have happened?
And even after, I think also,
even before that, if Native Americans had weapons,
true.
Yeah. Well, they had weapons, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
Wasn't on the scale
I'm talking about
weapons.
yeah.
And that's funny too, because people always talk about the Orlando shooting was the worst mass shooting. People say, no, it wasn't. It was whenever we came and killed the Indians, which obviously is not.
Well, to be fair, that was a war for land.
Yeah,
Not-
but still.
But understand, but still have the opportunity to defend yourself.
True.
With
Yeah.
any means you can.
Yeah, that's war. Yeah, I guess. But still, you can kind of. But yeah, that's a very interesting point, though. If African Americans were able to protect themselves, from slaves or from slave owners and stuff, if they had weapons. That's interesting.
Now, talking about, I want to move to talk about. We've talked about the amount of lives lost at the hands of gun violence, right? What about the amount of lives saved, right?
And start off with Stephen Williford. Stephen Williford. I mean, he was the guy that stopped the mass shooter on Texas.
With what gun did he stop him with?
I think it was. It's that deadly gun that people are talking about. It's designed to kill people.
Oh,
it's super dangerous.
Look at the language used in the article. It's highlighted.
His okay, I'm just going to read it. It says the former NRA instructor who lives next door to the church in Sutherland Springs, Texas, grabbed his AR-15 style rifle. That doesn't even make sense. It's an AR-15, not an AR-15 style rifle. That's hilarious.
And this is from Fox News.
Yeah, this is from Fox too, which is
it's just news all over the place.
But yeah, I mean, so there's a perfect case of a good guy with a gun stop the bad guy with a gun. That's why we have guns. I mean, one main reason why we have guns is to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and other people from bad guys. It's simple. But
simply put, we don't want people dying.
Yeah.
We don't want. We left. You hear us as well.
Yeah,
people who
we don't wish
anti-gunners.
death upon anybody.
We don't want people dead. Okay, if I'm going to discharge my firearm, the point for me, it might be different for you, is to stop the person. Okay. Now, if that involves killing the person,
so be it.
So be it. Okay. I don't want anyone dying at my hands or any other hand, but if someone has to go for the preservation of other lives, then I'll take that burden. I'll take that because, again, we want people to live. We want to live a happy life. All right. So we have a chart that we're looking at right now. Gun control, net lives saved versus net lives lost.
And this is when guns are legal and when guns are banned.
All right, Andre, you read the guns are banned. I
Okay.
would read the guns are legal.
Sounds good. All right, so go ahead. You go first.
Actually, let's go with the ban.
Okay, so it says when guns are banned, homicides successfully carried out with guns are 40,000. So that's whenever there's no guns allowed for anybody to have, there's 40,000 homicides that happen with guns.
When guns are legal, homicides successfully carried out with guns, which means you own a gun, there are 11,000 homicides, which means there's approximately 29,000 people that are going to live to see another day, because
They have guns to protect themselves
yeah,
against other people.
this is a term, soft targets.
Mm.
If I like to use countries as a code name. If someone is an attacker is shooting at someone who is who is not going to retaliate because they don't have a weapon on them, you know what? He can shoot at him and he doesn't have to worry about a retaliation. You know what that person is codenamed? France.
Yeah,
But if someone is shooting at a person who's packing,
America.
codename America, because you know a retaliation is going to come. You don't know. You may not know when or where, but you know it's coming.
Yeah. All right,
So soft targets is what the goals of these guys who are going to attack. All right.
So here is the next statistic. It says estimated homicides prevented with a gun when guns are banned, 0. That's crazy.
Well, of course it's 0 because
it's the law-abiding citizens that would be protecting themselves or others anyways.
Which, after I read this next stat, it proves another thing. Estimated homicides protected with guns.
Prevented with guns.
Bro, excuse me, prevented with guns. Sorry, it's hard for me to say it.
Sorry.
It's 40,000.
Now, sorry to interrupt, but there are stats saying that guns, it's not just firing guns, it's just the brandishing of a gun can stop
can
violence
deter
as well.
crime as well.
So the numbers there's a big gap between it saved a minimum of 300,000 lives or all the way up to 3 million lives.
Because
those stunts aren't recorded.
Yeah, because guns aren't being used in that specific case. So
that's why it's
it
not
wouldn't
being
be in
recorded.
there.
But just
that's a good point, though. I mean,
showing-
even showing your gun
Can
can
stop the
deter
violence.
someone from
Yeah.
like, hey, this guy has a gun. Maybe I'm gonna think twice about trying to do something to him.
Now, caveat: those who you out there who carry, do not pull your gun out unless you shoot it.
Unless you're
Because
gonna be
honestly, you can get into trouble if you just pull your gun out and just not shoot
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
You would save yourself from trouble with law if you just pull your gun out and shoot it.
Let me ask you a question.
Also, it'll be interlude real quick. Also, another good idea for people who own guns: make sure you have carry insurance. Make sure you have, because you never know when something's gonna happen. Because the lawyer fees will stack up real quick. So there's USA's, I think it's USCAA, something like that is one I have. It's like USCAA Carry Guard, I think is what it is.
Well, that's NRA.
No.
Oh, so they
Is
also
it
have.
Carry Guard? Maybe
I used to have NRA carry.
Yeah, but there's another one I have. It's really good. Too.
I'm gonna sign back up with them soon.
Yeah, so make sure if you carry a gun, make sure you have carry insurance.
Yeah,
because
they will save.
And
they will
also,
save your wallet.
If you get into a situation, make sure you have a backup gun, because they will take your gun and you may not get it back at all, or it probably take years to get it back. So,
I mean, if you discharge a firearm to save someone, your gun's gonna get taken just for.
And if you shoot your gun at all,
yeah,
and
it's
even
gonna
not
get
hit
taken.
someone, it's going to get taken because it's evidence. So.
Yeah.
All right. So the last statistic that we have up here for this chart, it says when guns are banned, estimated net lives lost by guns are 40,000. That's when guns are banned.
and listen, it all adds up because estimated lives saved is 29,000.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So when guns are legal, people don't die as much. I mean, that's really the best way to say it.
Like, it goes back to this. People, if a country was to invade on France, they'll invade on France without any fear. Okay?
I have a crazy.
Adolf Hitler? Anybody?
Actually, I have two things. Now that you say that, I have two things. So I have this picture that I saved a while back, or not a while back, a few days ago. It says.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Oh, really, Alexa? Why did Alexa have to say anything? I didn't say anything. Whatever. All right, so here's the quote. It says, "To conquer a nation, first disarm its citizens." That was quoted from the
Fuhrer.
The Fuhrer, yeah, Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler said that. So, and another thing, an interesting fact. I don't know. You may know this, Elvie. I'm not sure. An interesting fact that I found out the other day, in Russia, like you can have guns, but like you have to like. How did it? Like you can have a gun. Basically, it's like at like this warehouse, not a warehouse, but like it's at like this station, and like if you want to go use it, you have to like check it out and say what you're going to use it for, and have it back in a certain amount of time. Like that's insane.
That's too much.
Like I guarantee that's a dream for the left though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I bet they would want that.
No, the dream is
It's not
outright
that.
die.
Yeah, but I mean,
No
they
warehouse.
would compromise with that though. I'm
No,
sure.
no,
No.
outright gone.
Now here's the thing. I noticed we and other countries when they hear about shootings going on here in this country, they like to involve and get their input and opinions. Well, here's the thing. Like for example, Australians, they 96 like took
And
all
all
the
the
guns.
guns, yeah.
They had a buyback in 96. So if you had a gun, you had to sell it back to the thing. And they so far haven't had any gun related issues. Okay, cool. It's also important to point out Australia doesn't have any neighboring nations next to them. They literally are an island surrounded by water. So, but here's the thing: Switzerland. There's no such thing as a soft target in
Yeah,
Switzerland.
people are like, isn't it required
Almost-
for you to have a gun?
Yeah.
If you buy a house,
If you
have
own
to
a
have
home,
a gun.
You have to have.
Like that's
a gun.
awesome.
like almost every citizen 18 and above.
has a gun, and they
Has a gun.
let
They
them
have to-
open carry too. Don't they?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I've seen like pictures of like people riding on bicycles with guns strapped to their back, AK-47 on their back. Like,
Meaning, it's like, and you know what? This stat is not made up. It is the it's the lowest gun crime
rate
in the world.
In the world, yeah.
Now here's the thing. I say all that. Pause that, please. I say all that to say that those countries on different spectrums have the same results. But guess what? We're not going to ever achieve those results because our scenario is different.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I think we're more of a target as American. I think we're more of a target. Really.
Yeah, definitely. Agreed. Our ideals, we're just different from the rest of the world. That's why when you're president of the United States, you're known as the leader of the free world.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we said all our piece on this. Do you have anything else regarding the Second Amendment and
I
stuff?
don't think so. Just
I have a couple things.
okay.
I watched this video about Steven Crowder, Change Your Mind, I'm Pro-Gun. It was a great video.
I'm going to put a link to the description of that video.
We'll put a video.
Something shocking I found out in that video is most of these people don't know their Second Amendment rights. Steven Crowder goes on campuses and have conversations with these students about I'm Pro-Gun, and a couple of them says, I didn't know about the Second Amendment until you showed up on campus. That's another thing. People
They're
just not aware.
uneducated. They form an opinion without being fully educated on both sides of it.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's one of the major issues.
Yeah.
People that don't know what a gun
It's
does
for-
or
yeah, what
the
it's for.
classification of a gun, they don't know what it does, but they're having opinions about it.
Yeah.
Which is a perfect segue to our next topic. I would take anti-gunners' viewpoints a little bit more seriously if they could properly identify properly identify the classification of guns. Like whenever they say we should ban assault weapons,
Yeah, assault weapons are already banned.
like
That's assault weapon is a fully automatic weapon, right?
Exactly.
That's the last time I checked, that's what that is.
And automatic weapons were banned when
Like I don't even
in the
know.
1920s.
1920s, is that what it was? 20s?
Yep.
Dang.
That far. That
And
Here's-
wasn't like the gangsters that had like all
And they
those
still had
guns, and they still had them back then.
Here's the difference between a semi-automatic and an automatic weapon. With a semi-automatic weapon, you press trigger, it bangs one
One
time.
time, click.
That's it.
That's it.
Full automatic, you put your
Squeeze the
finger
trigger
there.
and it goes.
It's good.
I mean, yeah. So
It is.
I have a sound. I have sound for you guys. Let me set this up. Now, this is a news report from 4 months ago. It was uploaded 4 months ago. Then I'll just play it and tell you about what's going on here.
just listen to the sound closely. I can't hear it.
Take a look at this video used to shoot a watermelon using an AR-15.
I didn't know AR-15 has shotgun shells coming out of it.
Now for those that we'll put a link to this, and all of the stats were used in the description.
That's a lot of links, bro.
As long as you save them all, it'll be fine.
Okay, well,
Well, I'll do whatever. I'll do.
okay. That the lady says, "Here's a sound of an AR-15."
And then you hear a shotgun move. Like,
Now, anybody who played any video game, maybe from the last 10 years, know what a shotgun sounds like.
yeah,
And that's the sound of a shotgun and not
not
of
an
a
AR-15.
rifle.
And I mean, that's
And that's part of the problem.
yeah, that's the media
Media,
trying to
yeah.
push that gun.
It's either
Gun
they're
control stuff.
ignorant or they're lying.
Yeah.
And both are terrible.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we're gonna have the camera stop right here, and
Now,
no.
all right, we're back.
All right, so that's what I wanted to get off my chest a bit. To the families that had lost loved ones, to the victims' families, I am very sorry. Very sorry that you had to go through this pain of loss. You shouldn't have had to go through this. People in positions of authority should have done their job, and they failed to do it. And for that, you lost what we can never get back. But I am praying for you. We are all praying for you that you will find peace somehow in all this. And so I really do hate that this happened.
One more thing before we close it out. Just a status update. This still hasn't killed anybody, so just want to put that out there.
It's an inanimate object. It isn't the problem.
We have a problem with obesity in this country. Are going to
Blame
ban spoons and forks now?
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. And remember, this is our first episode of the Cross and Culture podcast. In our second episode, I will get into what the title and what this means, cross and culture. I'll get into more in depth of what that means. And so, for our podcast audience, check this out. We'll have this up soon. We're gonna actually put the video up to this before we put the podcast up to this. So I'm gonna sign off on the podcast, and then we'll sign off on YouTube. So you guys out there on Podcast Nation or whatever, you guys take care of yourselves.
Yeah. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Arm up.
Stay safe. Arm up. Remember that you are fearfully, wonderfully made by God. You guys take care. God bless. All right. Now, for those in YouTube world, appreciate. This is going to be a super long video. We may have more. It's going to be very few and far between with these long videos. So appreciate your patience. If you're able to sit through this, entire
bless you.
video.
God bless you.
God bless you. If you aren't, completely
That's fine.
understand. You rather just
Still, God bless you.
yeah. But I want you to remember as well that you were fearfully, wonderfully made by God. That you are so loved, and that's gonna do it for me, Jay Fletch. For
Andre Swan.
any projects you got going out?
I'll keep everything on the DL. I'm working on some stuff, so
Okay.
just be on the lookout.
And
And if they want to thank our wonderful cameraman / AV / Mr. Producer
/
Leviticus Fletcher
statistician.
/ statistician LV Fletch on the keyboard and the mouse.
All right, and that's gonna do it for us. Remember, fearfully and wonderfully made. You take care. God bless.
Doses.
See you.